Today I have my friend Sarah here and I'm going to be doing her makeup. This will be my first time doing somebody else's makeup on camera, so bear with me if I am blocking her or blocking the view with my butt or anything. I apologize. I'll have to have her push me out of the way if she thinks that's happening. But I just wanted to introduce her. Want to say hi?
Hello.
Alright, so we're going to just get right into it.
First, I'm just starting off with some Clinique moisturizer, and this is just creating a moisturized base for the face. And then I'm going in with the NIVEA Men's Aftershave Balm. I like this for sensitive skin or for anybody that you don't know how their skin is going to react. And I'm putting that all over her face as a primer. Going in with the Makeup Forever 2 mattifying primer, and this kind of fills in pores, so I put it in anywhere where she might have some lines. She actually has really nice skin. Then I'm taking the MAC's Face and Body Foundation. This is, to me, honestly, almost no coverage, but Sarah really doesn't like full cakey coverage. She typically doesn't even wear foundation. The only thing she typically wears on her face is blush and I believe bronzer, so this for her is going to suit her really well. It is just going to be creating more of a canvas. It's going to minimize any redness or any discoloration that she has on her skin, but it is not going to look cakey whatsoever. Then taking the NYX HD concealer, obviously not the color that I'm showing right here in this picture, but I'm just going to be putting that over her eyelids. This will be creating a base for the eyeshadow. I don't typically use eyeshadow primers. I don't feel like they're necessary. I like using concealer instead. And then I'm going to be setting that with translucent powder to make sure it's not creasy on the eyelids. And then I'm just brushing away that powder, and I'm going to go in with the Visart Matte Neutral Palette, I believe it's called. And I'm going to be taking one of the light nude shadows mixed with the brown, and I'm going to be using this as a transition color on the outer third of her lid and up into her crease. And I'm just really blending that in. I want no harsh lines. You guys have heard this before. No harsh lines. Blend, blend, blend. Again, using another Visart palette, I'm going to be going in with the brown shade from the Dark Matte palette, and I'm going to be deepening up her outer V area and up into the crease. I really want this look to be soft and kind of effortless looking, so I'm really making sure to blend everything out. And I'm going to be using one more Visart palette, and I'm taking a really pretty chocolate shimmer color, and I'm going to be putting that on the outer V and then just a little bit more towards the inner area of her lid, and also bringing that up, blending it in. I really just wanted a shimmery topper kind of for the brown that I had used before. And then I'm going in with a copper color on my blending brush and bringing that in even a little bit more. And this is just such a really pretty color. I really love this palette. I was hesitant to buy a all shimmery palette because I typically stick to using matte shadows, but I really love this palette and I'm glad I invested in it. Then taking MAC Brun, I'm going to be really deepening up the outer V. This is a really pretty mocha shadow, and I started off with her having her eyelid open because I wouldn't say she has super hooded eyes, but she does have a little bit of a hood, and this tends to happen with age. So this will kind of help really to map out where the shadow is going to be when your eyes are open. By having someone with hooded lids open their eyes while you're doing their shadow, it will really help you to know where the shadow is being placed, and so it doesn't disappear when they open their eyes. Then I'm taking a liner from MAC in Coffee, and I'm actually going to be putting that on my hand to kind of warm it up, and then I'm going to be dipping my brush in that liner and putting that along her lash line. I didn't want a really harsh winged liner or even just a liner in general. I wanted it to be very kind of subtle and smoky, just to really deepen up her lash line and make her lashes look a little bit fuller. So that is why I am doing that this way. It is more sanitary than putting the liner on your client's eyes as well, so that is another reason why I like to do it this way. Then I'm taking this gold buxom shadow. I'm not sure of the name of it. I will have that in the bottom bar below. And I'm going to be putting that in the inner, probably inner half of her eyelid. I think it ended up being. This is really to just brighten it up, keep that glowy look going. I really like the shadow color. It was, I think, a sample from Sephora, but I really like this color. It's really pretty. Then just went over the already existing gold shadow with some more, using my finger to really brighten it up and put a lot of pigment on the lid. Going back to that shimmery visor palette, I'm going to be taking that pretty light gold color and then the shimmery white and putting those on the inner corner, creating more of a gradient effect and really brightening up that inner corner. There it is again, blend, blend, blend. And I'm just adding a little bit more brown to the outer corner because some of the pigmentation was wiped away throughout the blending process. And then I will go ahead and clean up her lower lash line with a makeup wipe. Again, going back in with the NYX HD concealer, I am going to be concealing her under eye area. And I'm just blending that out with a brush. I have come to really like using a brush to blend out concealer lately instead of my beauty blender. I'm not too sure why. I think it really just keeps a lot of the pigmentation of the concealer on your face and not in the beauty blender. It doesn't soak it all up like a beauty blender does. So I've been really liking that. And I'm just going to blend out all of the concealer on her nose, forehead, and chin. Now, the concealer didn't cover as much of her dark circles as I wanted it to, so I did go back over with a salmon color corrector, and I just covered up her darker circles with that. It really did work this time. I didn't have to put a whole lot of concealer on top of this. It actually kind of blended in with her skin beautifully. So then I just used a beauty blender to really make sure there are no lines between the color corrector and her foundation, and just covering up any areas that I think needed a little bit more coverage. And I'm switching between my Pure Cosmetics beauty sponge and my Morphe concealer brush because I really want this to be a seamless look. I do love beauty blenders and beauty sponges for that really glowy, dewy look, so I'm going in between so it doesn't look too chalky or cakey underneath the eyes. I am just lightly setting her under eye area. As you can see, I am not baking. I do not typically do this for every client. It depends on their skin and their makeup preferences. For her, because I know she doesn't like heavy coverage, I did not want to bake her face. She also does not need it. She does not have a lot of wrinkles or creasing underneath her eyes, so it is not necessary. I am then taking the Makeup Forever Pro Finish Powder and just placing that all over her face. And then I'm going to be contouring lightly with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I really like this bronzer. I think it's really nice. It's more of a neutral brown instead of more warm or more cool. So it's just really pretty on all sorts of skin tones, and it also smells amazing. And then I'm taking MAC Margin and just kind of dotting that on her cheeks. As you can see, I'm not really swiping it as much. I really like to press it into the skin because I believe it gives a little bit more pigmentation. But I am using a duo fiber brush, so it's not going to be too heavy. And then my new all-time favorite highlight is MAC Soft and Gentle. I really like this highlight for all sorts of skin. It's really pretty for mature skin because it's not too heavy, but then you can also cake it on if you really like, and it just gives a really pretty glow. For brows, I'm using the Morphe Brow Palette, and I use the mixture between the darkest and the next darkest shade in this palette because she does have black hair. I obviously need to use darker tones, but I do not want to use just a stark black shadow because that does not create dimension, that does not look natural, and I personally just don't like black eyebrows. So for her, I definitely use a mixture between two colors to create a really pretty, natural, dimensional looking brow. And I can't really explain what I did to her brows. As you can see, she doesn't have a whole lot of brow hair as it is. She was unfortunately supposed to get microbladed the day before, but that appointment fell through, so she wasn't too happy about that, so I had to fill in those eyebrows for her. And as you can see, while I'm going, they really looked like a disaster. I'm not gonna lie, when I was doing her first brow, I was kind of sweating like, oh my gosh, did I lose my touch? But then as you can see, as it went along and I cleaned it up with some concealer, it really turned out to be a good looking set of brows. And again, I'm going over with my foundation brush because I don't want there to be a stark white line above her brows because that looks crazy. So I just use my foundation brush to blend it in. And then I'm just bringing some of those shadows that I use on her upper lid onto her lower lash line. I'm using MAC Brun and then using the shimmery palettes, using the brown, the copper, the gold, and the white, all to complete the look for the eyes. And then finishing up with mascara. I actually tried a different technique than I typically do. I use this flat kind of smudger brush and I put the mascara on there and then was really pushing that up into her lashes. This is going to create a fuller look for the lashes, and as you can see, she wasn't really having that. It was kind of weird for her. I'm laughing as I'm watching this video over. Then I went in with a small fan brush and put more mascara on the lashes. As you can see, this was a new technique for me as well. I was practicing on this because I do find that this is a nice way to sanitarily, is that a word? To put mascara on a client in a sanitary way without wasting a bunch of mascara spoolies. So I was actually pretty impressed with this, and I think I'm definitely going to implement this in my makeup routine for my clients. And here you can see I'm just brightening up the inner corner with that white and gold shadow like I had mentioned earlier. I'm lining her lips with MAC Strip Down, and I am just going to be slightly overlining her lips. She does have thinner lips, but the shape of her lips, or I should say the way that they come out, it's really hard to overline without them being noticeable, so I do just slightly overline them to create a fuller look. And then using a Bare Minerals gloss, I will have the name listed down below. I'm going to be putting that on with a lip brush for sanitary reasons as well. You never want to use the wand of a lipstick or anything, a lip gloss or anything on a client. I wanted to create a fuller look for her lips, so I did put a little bit of concealer on the center of her lips and kind of spread that out. And then I'm going to top that with NYX Fortune Cookie lip gloss. And this will really blend everything together, tie it together, and create that really pouty lip look that I was going for her. Just putting some final touches on those brows, and I'm spraying her with the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray to finish up the look. I did clean up her forehead a little bit. There was a little bit of creasing, so I set that a little bit better. And that is it. Doesn't she look so beautiful? Oh my gosh, I love doing her makeup. She always loves it so much. And that's my favorite part about doing makeup for anybody is I love making people happy and making them feel even more beautiful than they already are. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video and leave me a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like what you saw, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much.